Just been for a run. And you know what? Some people say, hey Kman, if you're trying to put on muscle tissue, don't do too much cardiovascular training. Some people say don't do any if you're trying to maximize muscle hypertrophy or putting on muscle tissue, because they say it's counteractive to putting on muscle tissue. It will eat away in muscle. It will burn off muscle tissue as you're running. Just look at marathon runners. Look how skinny they are and what cardiovascular training has done to them. Well, I think there might be a bit of genetics played in that picture. It means they were born like marathon runners. But let's have a look at that statement, because it does float around the profession, and particularly people who are very obsessed about putting on muscle, they become paranoid about everything that could strip muscle. So let's go to the numbers, let's go to the research, let's go to the science. Let's look at a run, a half-hour run. Half-hour run, you probably burn off around about 300 calories. And those calories will come from the two main substrates of energy will be carbohydrate and fat. Now we really talk about protein when it comes to being used as an energy source for cardiovascular training, because it's such a small contributor to the overall equation. So protein will contribute anywhere between 2 to 5% to the overall energy expenditure when you're doing cardiovascular training, when you're doing any form of cardiovascular activity. So let's have a look, let's make it 5%. Let's just bring it up 5%. So if you're burning off 300 calories, then most of that will be fat and carbohydrate, but 5% will come from protein, or people will say muscle tissue. So 5% of 300, or 10% of 300 is 30, therefore 5% of 300 calories is 15 calories. So in that half-hour run, you've burnt off 15 calories. Now how much protein is that exactly? Now every gram of protein has around about 4.5 calories. So let's divide 15 by 4. It ends up being around about 4 grams. So 15 calories divided by 4.5 is around about 4. We'll bring it up so people say I'm not undercutting it. So therefore in that half-hour run, your body has burnt off 300 calories, and 15 of those, 15 calories that come from protein, which means that is 4 grams of protein. So you've burnt off 4 grams of protein. So let's have a look at how much that really is. I have my little bottle of milk here, and we've got protein per serve of this, which is 200 ml, is 8 grams of protein. So if you want to counteract that atrophy of muscle from cardiovascular training, take a couple more sips of milk and you'll completely counteract it. So stop being paranoid, because when you look at, I was looking at the All Blacks the other evening, and they do a lot of cardiovascular training, and they're very big and muscular as well. So can you do both? Of course. Will one counteract the other? Well, not if you compensate that with maybe an extra 2 sips of milk in your diet, and that way it will be all fine. You won't be wasting away to a little skinny, genetically inclined marathon runner, and that would be no cow poo.